To make our elephants, first we're going to break 2 pieces of clay apart from our main bank of clay and make them into 2 balls that are like a little bigger than an egg. So each ball is a little bigger than an egg. And I'm going to smush that clay together really good to get rid of any air pockets, and then make a pinch pot. Both of these balls are going to be 2 small pinch pots. So I put my thumb into the clay and then use my fingers to form a bowl, as you can see here. Once I have made 2 pinch pots that are pretty equal in size, then I am going to get a paper towel, crinkle it up, and put it inside the bowl. This is going to help the pinch pot bowl keep its shape so we can build an elephant around it. Now I'm using my finger and making those 2 bowls fuse together to become one large ball, I guess, that will be the body of our elephant. So using my thumb, you could use some water too to really smooth that out. We want to make sure that this becomes one solid piece instead of 2 separate pieces. So that will be the body of our elephant. Next, we're going to make the face of our elephant. So I ripped off a piece of clay, made it into a ball, and now I'm flattening it out to create the face of the elephant. Make sure that the face is not too big or too heavy. Otherwise, when you go to try and attach it onto your body, it's just going to fall off or make your body tip over. You want these heads to be pretty thin and not heavy. I'm going ahead and creating some ears for my elephant and attaching it onto the elephant's face. Doing this part, it might take some trial and error. You might make one elephant head or one elephant face and realize that it's not going to attach on to your body, and you might have to just smush it up and start over. That's one of the great parts about clay, is that if you need to, you can always start over. Next here, I am going to make a coil for the elephant's trunk. So I just ripped off some clay, used my hand to create a coil, and attached it to my elephant's face to make his trunk. Next up, we're doing some other details on his face, like the eyes. When you create your elephant, you could do things differently than me if you want to. It will be your choice of how you want to create this elephant. It can look the same as mine, or you could do other ideas. Here, I'm just using the different tools I have in my clay set to add details and textures. Make sure that when you are attaching a piece of clay to another piece of clay, you're using this technique here called scratch and slip. First, I use a fork or another pointed object to scratch the areas of my clay that will be attached to each other. And then I use some slip, which is this really watered down, wet, mushy clay. I use it as like a glue or a concrete to stick those pieces together like you saw here. You really want to try and make sure that you are getting your elephant to stick together really, really well. Next up, I am adding some extra details. Here, I'm going to add 4 legs to my elephant. So I'm creating 4 kind of cylinder pieces that are equal in size and height so that I can attach them to the bottom of my elephant so I can have some legs. When I'm doing these, I'm making sure that they're pretty short and thick because I want them to be able to carry the weight of my elephant and everything that goes on it. If you have some like little spindly, skinny legs in your elephant, they might collapse under the weight of all of the rest of the clay. So you want your legs to probably be short and stable. I'm also going to add a tail here to my elephant so he has a tail. And a lot of the elephants that we looked at in photographs of the real elephants and also in examples made by other students, you can see that some people added some pretty fun stuff. When you're making your elephant, you could add like a blanket or a seat for a rider for your elephant. Maybe your elephant will have a hat. Maybe you'll put some clay flowers on your elephant to decorate it. You can start thinking of different ideas that you want to use to make your elephant look unique. Also remember that we'll be painting these elephants and adding color to them, so you can also go ahead and just paint on some of those details that you're thinking of too. Not every single detail has to be made with clay. You can paint or draw those details on once our elephants have gone in the kiln. So here you can see I'm using the scratch and slip technique to attach the elephant's legs. When our clay goes into the kiln is going to suck all the moisture out of the clay, which makes it a lot more fragile. So if you have pieces of your clay that are not attached to each other very well, there's a good chance that they might break off in the kiln. Now, a lot of times we can glue things back on after it's been in the kiln, but you still want to try your best to make sure that everything is attached before it goes into the kiln so that it hopefully does not break off. I like to use these like rounded wooden tools to help me attach items to my clay sometimes. Like your fingers can work, but I do think this tool works as well. The last step that we're going to take is you need to punch some holes in the bottom of your elephant where you can't see, and this is because if your elephant went in the kiln and it didn't have a hole in it like this, it would explode. And that's because when we put something in the kiln that has air trapped inside of it, like the inside of your elephant is just air and paper towel, that would create pressure in the kiln and it would explode. So make sure you punch those holes in it.